I want to play you guys one of my favorite songs. This is the song. This is the song that I wake up to every morning, and to me, this is a song that embodies the spirit of improvisation. This song is called Strasbourg Saint-Denis by the late jazz trumpeter Roy Hargrove. In middle school, I stumbled upon a video of Roy and his band playing the song in Paris, and I was mind blown. The instrumental solos in the song were absolutely incredible. All three musicians are master improvisers. Because I'm a pianist, I was especially drawn to the piano solo by Gerald Clayton. As he was playing the keys, he put his left hand inside the piano to mute the strings, so it almost sounded like you were listening to an electric guitar solo instead of a piano solo. I had never seen this type of creativity before. It's the type of creative decision he was only able to make because he let himself get lost in the song, because he let the spirit of the music guide him. I wanted to be free like that. I wanted to be that type of improviser. Many of my role models in life are musicians, and I can confidently say that music was my first love. What draws me to many of my favorite musicians is their ability to improvise, to enter a new sonic world and maneuver through it with nothing more than faith and confidence in their preparation. These days, I'm really moved by artists like FKA Twigs, Frank Ocean, and Kendrick Lamar, just to name a few. Artists like these inspire me to bring the spirit of improvisation into my life, which has been integral to my time at Brown. As Point Fivers, we've all utilized improvisation in different ways during our college careers. Being a Point Fiver implies adaptability. It means being okay with choosing the road less traveled. I think we all know how difficult of a decision that can be. As I proceed with my speech, I urge you all to think about your own unique paths and the ways in which you've had to improvise to get to this point. For me, improvisation and adaptability have come in the form of navigating the liminal spaces that I've inhabited here for the past 4.5 years. The first of these liminal spaces that I've had to navigate has been trying to get my music career off the ground while also being a full-time student. By the time I got to Brown, I knew that I wanted to make music my life's pursuit. Knowing one's passion from a young age is exciting, but it's also incredibly stressful. Sometimes it didn't seem like this liberal arts education would directly benefit me in the music industry. I remember discovering Daniel Caesar during sophomore year and being simultaneously elated and mortified. Here's this artist who was only a year older than me, who was living out his dream and making beautiful music, while I was getting a different virus every week and struggling and staying up until 5 a.m. trying to get my essays in on time. Through talking to my fellow Point Fivers here in the room, I know that many of us have experienced the same sort of frustration. We're all very ambitious people. We all aspire to change the world in our own unique ways. Because of this passion, the slow-moving journey towards self-actualization can feel agonizing. But despite the dilemma of having to choose between school and music, Brown has been an intensely creative experience. I wasn't able to work on music with the same dedication that I would have if I had gone to a music conservatory. However, I've been blessed with the time and space to interrogate who I am as a person and my place in the world. These insights have helped me to create art and achieve various milestones over the past few years that I'm really proud of. Some people might ask, if you're taking music this seriously, why even go to college? Why pay all that money and go through all that stress? Mom, I'm sure you wondered the same thing. The thing is, though, I genuinely love learning. I love meeting other students with completely different lived experiences than my own and learning from the brilliant professors here. We all chose to embark on this journey knowing that it would be difficult. Yet, we opted to lean into the discomfort, knowing that growth lay just beyond view. Now, Brown hasn't been easy by any accounts. There have been times when I felt so sad and lost that I just wanted to leave. It seemed like quitting would be less painful. Part of improvisation is being content with the unknown, and while I agree with this sentiment, it's much easier said than done. Splitting my time between school and music made it impossible to commit fully to either pursuit. Choosing to camp out in the Rock to finish a research paper meant I was sacrificing recording time. Recording all night meant I wasn't taking the time to fully absorb my assigned readings, which I was really interested in. I often felt drained, especially during my sophomore and junior years when I was in the thick of it. But at the end of the day, I'd never trade any of those experiences, good or bad, because they've made me into a more mature and empathetic person. I've learned that compromise is important and that I should aim to do the best I can in all my endeavors as opposed to seeking perfection. The challenges that I've faced have helped me to fit my experience into the larger puzzle that is Brown. Some students come here and they don't have to improvise at all. The geography is familiar, and attending an elite institution feels like their birthright. Others come to Brown and they have to fight for their education. They have to fight to be seen and accommodated, constantly maneuvering through foreign terrain. Wherever you might fit into the Brown puzzle, I know that as .5ers, we've all had to adapt to unexpected circumstances. For me, it has been these unexpected, often stressful situations that have facilitated my greatest moments of growth. I'm way more equipped to take on the world than I would have been had I decided to forego my college education and go straight into music. Another liminal space that I've been navigating since grade school is my positionality as a Black person in predominantly white institutions. As a Black student existing in spaces that I know weren't made for me, it can be difficult to feel seen or to feel like a priority. It's hard being in classes where no one looks like you, having an advisor who can't really understand you, or getting psychological counsel from someone who can't really relate to you. Knowing you go to a school that benefited from slavery is also really disturbing. This summer, I went to the Legacy Museum in Montgomery, Alabama, to learn more about the history of slavery in America. While I was there, I found the lynching records of some of my own ancestors. Sometimes walking around this campus, I felt like I was carrying the weight of the Meadows name on my back. I felt like I was working so hard to get this education because it might somehow counteract the years of injustices committed against my family and my people. This is one of the realities of existing as a person with marginalized identities in most institutions. However, I've met so many people of color at Brown who have made me feel seen and feel validated. These are people who are incredibly thoughtful about marginalization of all kinds and passionate about dismantling systems of oppression in America. These are people who attend protests, curate their own workshops about colorism and misogynoir, and create socially conscious works of art. It is because of these positive forces in my life that I felt able to start exploring my Blackness more wholeheartedly. I've taken some life-changing classes in my time here, from an academic study of hip-hop and the culture surrounding it taught by Professor Tricia Rose, to a literature class focused specifically on Black writers and poets, to a class studying the life and work of Nigerian musician and icon Fela Kuti. I'm sure that many of you have found these sorts of enriching and meaningful experiences in your own classes. The thing is, though, Brown moves so fast that it's easy to switch into autopilot. There's something about leaving this bubble for a little while that can help us to recenter and refocus our passions at school. For me, that meant demanding more of myself and of Brown. I resolved to get as much as I could out of my remaining semesters. I began to take on more leadership roles. I started to reconcile my blackness with my religion. I hadn't been to church seriously since I was 14 and didn't even know if I believed in God. But something inside of me pulled me to the Black Christian Ministry group on campus, and I've been going almost every week since. College was the first time it really felt cool to be Black, and not cool in a tokenized way based on stereotypes. When I'm here, I feel much more understood and in community with Black people other than my family. College is where I realized it was cool to be Black, to be vulnerable, to fail, and to be joyful. This whole experience has been a privilege. Most people go through life in survival mode without the time to interrogate their feelings on a deep level. They just aren't given the space to open up. At Brown, we've all been given that space. We've all been given opportunities to find that space. The space to belong, to allow ourselves to just be joyful without second guessing it, and the space to express vulnerability. But opportunities are not enough. We have to trust ourselves to be present when they arise. We have to learn to improvise. I had to find a way to both acknowledge the racial history of this institution while seeking solidarity in the very same place. I had to unlearn the toxic narratives of race and gender that were floating around in my head after going to a high school where I was one of only 9 Black students in my grade. I had to open myself up to new experiences, like joining Black Christian Ministry out of the blue, or deciding to live in Harambe, the only historically Black dorm and community space at this university, during my last semester, instead of living off campus as most of my friends chose to do. We've all found the communities most important to us through intuition. No one can direct us to the right people better than we can by simply following our hearts, and following the heart is improvisation in a nutshell. In the spirit of community, I want to take a second to thank my family, my friends, and the faculty who have helped me along this journey. I can't even begin to name all the people who shaped my life for the better, and I just want to express my gratitude. Our time here wasn't scripted. Most of us couldn't have predicted our college experiences playing out the way that they have, and to me, that's a beautiful thing. The same way that Roy Hargrove crafts a silky smooth trumpet solo, or Kendrick Lamar weaves disparate words together over a beat to create sonic poetry, we too have successfully improvised our experiences here and created one beautiful piece of music. As we leave Brown and move into new phases in our lives, we can take the same spirit of adaptability with us and apply it to new challenges. As Miles Davis says, composing will always be a memory of inspiration. Improvising is live inspiration, something happening at that very moment. Do not fear mistakes, there are none. I ask that we all strive to transition into our new lives without fear of mistakes, seeking inspiration from even the most unexpected places. As long as we can keep the spirit of improvisation alive, the future is brighter than ever.